Welcome to our inaugural episode for our D&D campaign stream for D&D 5e, Rites of Binding Inheritance. This is our uh, home game that we have been playing for about a year. And the party had completed their first act, and we decided to bring it into streaming for its second act, in a way. With it, we have our normal players, plus an extra person that we brought along for the ride on this lovely adventure of ours. Uh, so, to begin, we are going to jump really right into it. We don't have any additional things other than that. I would like to thank Madison, our resident artist, who did all the art for our stream, and Shutterstock, who's our background. Uh,
Yeah.
as such, that's kind of it. Otherwise, we've all done put this together for who knows. As such, we will begin right
We
off.
did it for fun.
Yeah, for fun. So, as a general recap of what happened previously for everyone here, the party, made up of, at the time, 4 members, had come together in a town of Sunstone to head to this large religious festival that lasts a month long in the capital city upon the continent they are residing in. The Church of Creation, which is the majority religion, has a 100-year-long process in which they select a new religious leader who gains magical powers from their divine benefactor, Ethios, who is the god of creation. And thus he sends his power down to his gods and deities, which many of the people of this world worship. For whatever reason, for each of the party members, they decided to come together and head east to the capital city of Lux, and had traveled to there for about a month. Their adventures entailed freeing a forest from the control of a dark being, encountering their childish dragon companion Lionrith, and stopping an old sorceress from returning to the world. When they arrived in the city, they participated in the Tournament of Ascension, which involved tasks of a multitude of different disciplines and skill levels. Through it, they took time to relax, catch up on family members there as well. And as they climbed near the top of the tournament, it was interrupted by an attack from several groups ranging from rebels, cultists, and werewolves. Given a warning to get out of the city as soon as possible by the spy master of the king, they attempted to flee through the teleportation portals in the highest tier of the district, which much of the wealthier people reside, which Sylvia, our resident wizard, knew. One event led to another in which they helped retake the castle, save the king himself. However, they had failed to stop the freedom of the goddess of destruction from being freed, not as what was believed to be a city, but her prison where she resided. And that's where we left off. We return back with not the immediate scene where we came from. Instead, a purple hand lifts from a card on just a wooden table that is in a incense-filled room. It's unable to identify who else is in the room or who even its hand belongs to, but when the hand moves, it reveals a card with a white city on the top and dark ruins beneath it. And she gestures out to it and says, the first steps lead to Ascension, who it would be left up to chance. From here, the paths cross and tie together. But one thing is certain, the past's problems have led to the future's inheritance. We fade away from that here to immediately come back to a scene of chaos as people are running to and from in a outdoor garden area just outside of the king's castle. People are recovering from seeing this goddess appear above the city, and a brief fight between the two divine beings of creation and destruction before they had both fled into who knows where. It turns to, we pan ourselves over to the Griffin Master, Ryder, who is the spy master for the king. She wears blue in a completely cloaked but also armored appearance with her curly orange hair. From there, it immediately flips to the party being shoved into a room that is reminiscent of a sitting room, similar to a manor that Sylvia's family, the Emirs, had owned due to its refined and orderly display, as well as some of the blue color schemes within it. The light in the room is mostly dark due to the blue curtains covering the broken windows, as the only light provided is the candlestick that is shoved into Fern's hand. She turns to the group of you and says, "Stay here before something else burns down. I'd rather not deal with the 5 of you right now with what just happened." And then she immediately shuts the door, leaving 4 of you, plus your dragon companion, alone in the room. Lionrith, your little dragon friend, first goes up to Let and says, "Did we win? I think we won. Did you see all that cool stuff that happened?" And this kind of fades off a little bit as he's talking to you, Let. But can you introduce yourself to yourself and who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Rose. My character is Let. Let's pronouns are they, them, but my pronouns are she, her. And I suppose Let would turn to Lionrith and say, I have no idea if we won. Honestly, I've stopped counting anything at all anymore because I found that I can't keep track of numbers. Honestly, I don't know anymore if 3 comes after 5 or not. But I think we won.
He smiles, then hops over to Sylvia and says, "Well, what do you think? You're really smart, and you know these stuff, right?" And Sylvia, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Piper. I play Sylvia. My pronouns and my character's pronouns are she, her. Yeah, Linewith, I think we won in a certain sense. I don't know why Allison, the spy master, is having such an attitude. We did save the king's life after all. Did you know? It's interesting that Valdara takes the form of a dragon, though. Did you notice that?
He shrugs, and as he does that, he's saying something to you, and then you kind of flash back to a previous moment not too long ago where your sister's dead in front of your eyes, and you're not really able to process kind of what is going on. Can you elaborate on maybe what Sylvia's going through in this moment?
I think at this moment, she is flooded with emotion and kind of takes a step back and removes herself from the situation. Try to process the emotions.
Yeah, and this is a hard moment for her. And Lionrith is still talking to you about it, but it's hard to keep pinned on it. We kind of pan over to Gorfrak. Could you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Taylor. I go by he, him. Those are my pronouns, and I play Gorfrak. Gorfrak is a druid that goes by she, her.
Yeah, and you are also processing something different about yourself, because not too long ago you died, and you had not experienced that before, and no one usually does, and is able to come back from it. And when you died, you came to a place that you were unfamiliar with. It was a beach with nothing but the sea in sight on one side and a blurred landscape on the other with a tree line. In the distance, you could spot somebody out in the waves, but before you could process it, you were brought back by Fern, who is also dealing with a situation of her own. Fern, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Madison. My pronouns are she, her. I play Fern, whose pronouns are also she, her.
Yeah, and you are still trying to rack your mind around your mentor, Dimitri, who at one point blocked the way to a individual who had been attacking the party for some time, and he stood in the way of them and fought this person himself. From that point forward, you haven't seen or heard from him since. And he's been the center of your life for some time, and you're unsure what to take. From that,
There's no way he's dead. He's alive. He's totally alive. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Of course, you don't need to worry about that. Uh, we then kind of fade a little bit in this moment to uh, a process of time shifting in a way. A week passes, and you are all returned to this room for one reason or another. Fern, you took the time to take a look around the city. Much of it is damaged and in ruins. While the casualties are not abundant, it still is significantly damaging to the city at large. Much of the city can't really sustain the people that now live here. Gorfrak, you took time to meditate on what had happened and seeing if the druids themselves had an answer, but even they had left this place entirely. Sylvia, you had talked with your family for some time, but your parents seem to be more focused on the burial of their daughter and your sister. Let, on the other hand, you took time to change the way that you fight. In many different aspects, you learned from your odd mentor who is a ghost, maybe not a ghost, who comes to you in dreams. It's very odd.
Who haunted me?
Yeah, who haunted you for a long while.
Yeah. Haunted sensei.
Yeah.
Made you wake up in a river several times.
Yeah, dazed and confused.
As such,
Not dazed and confused.
he spoke to you with and gave you this advice when you were learning this process. To understand the way of the four elements, one must understand the nature of the world. Each martial style takes its form from somewhere, and it takes it from the elemental planes, one of 8 in the planar system. Throughout the expressions of these elements can one tap into the plane and gain its powers. For now, you must understand how they interact. To start, I think understanding the aspect of fire should suffice with this lesson. It is the element of power and passion. It burns as bright as you wield it. Each has their quirks, and understanding them will take time. You should have enough to begin, but if you need help, of course, come speak with me. And we fade through those moments all the way into this room, which is still unlit, but now more well kept. as it has been picked up since your time within the castle. And in all honesty, probably the first time you're able to collect yourselves together in one room to kind of go over the events that happened. So then now I leave the rest to you.
Because I have just recently altered Let to now be a monk who is the way of the four elements, isn't that right?
Correct.
It's been a long time since we've played, my gosh. Am I able to use my hand as like a fireball, like to light the room, or to light the torch that Fern is holding? Would you allow that?
Yeah, so there is an ability that you have that allows for minor adjustments to the scene to play out, where you can light candles, extinguish large campfires, things like that. It should be
Okay.
in your character features.
Yeah, so I see that I can briefly control elemental forces within 30 feet of me, a harmless sensory effect of light or snuff a candle or campfire, chill or warm 1 pound of non-living material for up to an hour, or create elements within a 1 foot cube for 1 minute. So I would think I would just be able to kind of hold it, light that torch, and kind of hold onto a fireball to kind of investigate the room a little bit. That's what I'm getting at, is I want to investigate the room with my own light and not have to take the torch from Fern.
Yeah, you can do that. Or if anything, you can probably just snap your fingers and you have a brief, small light, but you can able to investigate the room if you wish.
Oh, that's a lot of power for somebody who's head empty, no thoughts.
Let, you're on fire.
Yeah, my hand's on fire on purpose. Did it on purpose.
Well, that's new.
Why
Hey,
didn't you do this
some
back
things are
in Moon
intentional.
Portal?
You light things on fire?
I just learned how, yes.
Oh no, that means you and Fern are gonna get into even worse trouble.
Do not get into trouble.
Yeah.
We have fun.
We get into what you would consider trouble and what we would consider fantastic fun.
So just to clarify, the things that happened last week, including my death, Sylvia's sister's death, and potentially the death of the ruling class of this city, is that fun or is that trouble?
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't start that, but yes.
Please don't mention my sister's death.
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah, she's sensitive.
Hey, Let, people dying ain't a joke. It was kind of more trouble than fun.
I also want it to be noted that Sylvia is wearing all black now.
Oh, that's so sad.
Wait, is she not always wearing all black? I just
No,
kind of assumed.
No.
She wears silver and purple.
Yes.
Got it. I just kind of assumed from her general demeanor that she might only wear black.
Hey, are you gonna go home soon? I figured that's what people do when family dies. I don't really.
My parents are still settling on funeral ceremonies, but I will return home for that, and we have to sort out everything with Connell being the heir now.
Wait. Heir? Heir of what? Heir? Like,
Do you know nothing about how nobility works?
look down at myself. Covered in mud. No? Nope. Not a clue.
So you understand that there are noble families that have different regions of of the whole country, yes?
Sure.
My family owns one of them. Aerith was the heir, and now she's dead.
Does anybody have any idea who this weird kid is in the corner? She's just been quiet this whole time. You didn't
Is she
notice
there,
her just
DM?
over in the corner?
No,
Is
no
our new
one's there
party
yet.
member there yet?
There's no one in
It's
the corner.
just us?
Just you guys.
It's just us.
I thought Kaya was in the corner.
No, she's
It's
not here yet.
5 of us being Lionrith and us 4.
Incredible. Okay. I just determined that Faith was being too quiet and she needed to be involved.
My mom was sitting over here and she goes, "Are you okay? You don't look like you're having any fun."
You haven't been invited yet. I'm sorry, I thought she was in the corner.
Yeah, so
you
Let looks into the corner and talks about there's a guy there. There is no guy.
You know what? That's
Did you fall
honestly
on your
fitting for
head while
Let.
you were doing your training?
The amount of times I've fallen on my head is no concern of yours.
pretty high though.
I think you're seeing things.
It might be. I am still learning how to control this fire. It might be making shapes.
Or you might have the bird flu from all the dead birds in your pockets.
Those are valuable.
On that note, as soon as you say those are valuable, the door bursts open with 3 individuals. 2 of them are familiar to you. One is Alistair Cromwell. He is the Knight Commander of the Griffin Riders, and next to him is his spy master, Allison, who pushed you into this room a week ago. With them is someone else who... Faith, can you describe your character?
Sure. I'm Faith. My pronouns are she, her, and so are my character's Kaya. My character's Kaya.
Yeah. For us here, can you describe what she looks like?
Sure. She's about 5'6", 5'7". She's got white hair and so she's got some pointed ears too. Got hair there. She kind of looks like she doesn't really want to be there, and she is dressed head to toe in armor, but like functional armor, not I'm going to go off to war and kill the first person I see.
Of course.
She's also she's got 2 swords and a stack of books. Because always.
You never know when you need a book, right?
Correct.
That's what I like to do when I travel, is encumber myself with 42 books.
I do. There's only like 2. Leave me alone.
So,
But it's not like she's just carrying books on her head or something.
yeah. All right. So, Alistair, he comes up to you guys and asks, all right, well, we all brought you back together here. Did your time here go well?
I mean, nobody died.
As well as it could have, given the circumstances.
Well, great.
Is Gorfrag here?
Gorfrag is here. Gorfrag is challenged mentally right now.
Okay.
Slightly more traumatized than we were a week ago.
Yeah, just a little bit.
This is your fault.
Battling with my mortality.
More than you probably realize. Well, again, Alistair then goes forward and says, well, at this point, we don't have any reason to keep you here any longer, so we're going to let you go. You've been of great assistance, and I think we have everything under control now, and we can reduce the collateral damage of multiple different angles significantly. That being said, there are a few things that we wish you to do, if possible.
You haven't done enough already?
Yeah, he continues on and turns to Allison, who then speaks. Under better circumstances, this would be a little bit more formal, but we have interest in wanting to understand your little dragon friends' desires, wishes, things like that. I know he's had memory issues prior, and we've become invested in his future in that regard. So we are willing to assist any way we can, as we have prior, but even more so now. We also...
That's weird and almost like not your business.
What's
Also,
prompting this?
Before the tournament, we came to you and a bunch of other people in the Griffin Riders for help about Lionrith, and you guys were mildly annoyed. That's what it felt like.
Right, hence why it's weird and not your business.
Invested
What
now, we might
changed?
as well take what we can get.
What changed?
Current events, that would be said. Anyway, we also would wish, and she turns to Gorfrak at this, we want you to investigate how the druids are doing. They vanished after the events and have not been seen at all. I believe that your acquaintance, Fiorm, the old woman, she seemed to be around for a brief moment, but she also left, and we are concerned for their safety. While we may not have the best allegiances with them, it is necessary in case the church fails to band together in these trying times.
With all due respect, the Druids have been working their lands since before the first city of Lux was built. So, while our numbers aren't as strong as they have been, and this certainly is unprecedented, I think they're okay.
All right, well...
Let, walks up behind Gorfrak after she finishes that and does, a little snap, and, a little tiny firebolt comes out of the snap,
All right, then Alistair speaks up again.
Fire.
And says, well, you can leave at this moment, but we also have something that the king has requested that you be granted an assistance with your endeavors that he will ask you about here momentarily. This is Kai, and he gestures to Kai. She is a researcher, librarian, expert, martial fighter. We believe she can be of use to you and assisting you in any way that shape or form. It also will allow us to contact you if you need us or we need you. She will be our
And
liaison.
Do you
Kai's
think
kinda
us
standing here.
staying with...
Go
ahead.
Ty's kind of standing there with this smile, that strained smile, but clearly trying to be a good king's emissary.
Do you think we are still in danger because of Lionrith? Or rather, that Lionrith is still in danger?
Allison speaks up and says, we certainly believe so, which is why we believe that Kai will be of great use.
People are going to keep attacking us?
Not
We
if
are
I'm here.
unsure of any future attacks, but we can certainly believe that it could be possible.
Well, you didn't know about the attack on Lux, so...
Yes. After that awkward silence there,
Sylvia doesn't care anymore. All of Sylvia's good graces are just gone for this moment. She's sick of it. Her sister's dead.
Aren't you tired of being nice? Don't you just want to go eat
Yes.
shit?
And this is the second time in Gorfrak's life that something highly traumatic has happened to her because of civilization. So she's looking for the door.
Alistair then notices the turn in the room and says, well, that'll be all from us. And the king will speak with you momentarily. And the two of them leave, and now there's a total of 6 of you in this room. As they leave, 2 guards come out, and they are posted within the doorway, leaving you alone. Sort of.
I kind of walk closer to the group, and I'm like, "Hi, everyone," and don't sound particularly enthusiastic.
You don't sound particularly enthusiastic.
It's not personal, I promise.
It's okay. Sylvia doesn't sound particularly enthusiastic most of the time either.
No, I'm not sure that I've ever seen her smile. Also, Piper had to deal with the cat really quick. Sorry, she's back now. He's fighting her.
So, Kai, how did you become to be the king's emissary? That must come with a lot of renown.
It wasn't really my choice, honestly. My parents lived on the outskirts of the city, had one too many children, and when one day there was a recruiter from the university I went to, Meridian, and he offered my parents and several other people money if they would send their kids to this school to learn how to fight. And my parents jumped on it, and I haven't seen them since I was about 5. So yeah, it wasn't so much a choice.
I'm gonna lean over to Fern and be like, "What's a university?"
Think it might have something to do with stars and galaxies?
That sounds right.
So, Kai, what's your area of expertise? Sylvia and I are magicians of sorts, and Fern is more of a clerical artist, and hits things, kicks things, throws a boomerang every so often.
I
And
hit him
apparently
real
nobody's
good.
got smarts.
Oof. It would kind of depend on who you ask. If you ask me, my skills lie in the library. There's not a thing in Meridian's library that I can't find. Roll your eyes again. I'm gonna smack
Then
you.
why are you assigned to us to help protect us?
Because even though I would much rather be in the library, I graduated at the top of my class graduated at the top of my class. No one can beat me in a fight.
I'd like to see Let try.
I don't think it'd go well for you.
A good fighter.
Wait, does that mean we gotta deal with you and Sylvia talking like know-it-alls all the time? No offense, Sylvia.
Honestly, my expertise lies more in history of tactics and war, because I just want to know what's gone on in the continent since everyone started recording. So I'm kind of specific, but I won't discount that I'll be a know-it-all.
Finally, somebody I can actually talk to about things.
It'll be
I will
fun.
understand 100% of what I'm saying.
It will be nice. Not to dismiss the rest of my classmates, but wow, sometimes their swords are bigger than their brains.
I'm
Well,
gonna lean over
right.
to Let and be like, do we have to keep her?
I don't know.
Yes, you're stuck with me.
I
don't
think
want to
she's
be
another
here.
Sylvia.
I don't want to be here. You don't want me here, but we'll be fine.
That sounds promising.
That has
Well-
Major Dad and the pet they didn't want energy.
Don't get me wrong, I'll take this job very seriously. But the only reason I'm here is because my teacher, or the leader of our university, the Meridian, told me that if I didn't start using what they had spent the last 20 odd years teaching me, then I'd be out on the street. So I'll help. Of course I'll help. But much rather be in my library.
With that being said, the door abruptly opens with the king himself, Tigaris. He is... You've seen him before. All 5, 6 of you have. Imposing man, brown hair, bushy beard, somewhat in his middle-aged, much older. As he approaches in, he looks pretty positive since the last time you saw him, which was in a near-death experience. Wearing his armor that is... You can't tell is ceremonial, but you're pretty sure it isn't. Or at least Kai would know for sure that it isn't ceremonial.
It most definitely is not. That armor has seen some wear.
Yes. And a small retinue of guards and servants carrying little small, like, fancy-looking boxes. And he said to the group of you, "Well, it's been a little while since we saw each other. I would hope that the servants have treated you well while you've been here."
Of course, Your Highness.
Fantastic. Well, I want to...
Nice to see you not dead.
Of course. Well, let's get straight into it here. I am quite impressed with your skills and abilities that you displayed last week. While you had not been able to complete the tournament and it was officially canceled, I don't see any reason not to give you the reward that was placed with it. Could you? And then he turns to his servants who hand the 4 of you, not you, Kai, a small box containing 5,000 gold pieces for each of you. So add that to your inventory.
5,000?
5,000.
What's the conversion rate of 5,000 gold pieces to birds?
I don't know. Mostly because I don't know if you ever made the conversion.
I don't
It's a
think I
lot
did.
of birds.
Gotta be honest, Kai's standing in the corner, not knowing anything else about you guys, going, "Okay."
That's really fair enough.
Yeah, if I saw this group of yahoos and then the king came in and was like, "Yeah, I'm giving you all the reward of the tournament," I would also be like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
You said 5,000 gold pieces a piece?
Yes, for each person.
Woo.
Wow.
And a wondrous orb of things. If you remember, that is a item that is hidden throughout the world and for whatever reason, but it can either be used to increase one of your ability scores by 1, or can be used for a random magic item of random rarity. So it's up to you what you want to do with it. All in this nice little crate that he kind of gives each of you. And he continues on as you guys are looking through this. As such, you did a wonderful job within the city as well. You've helped with my life as well as one of my most trusted generals. And doing so had protect the library that was within the city. As such, within each of those boxes is what we give out for great heroics called the Medal of Heroics. You may wear it with pride if you wish. It is magically enchanted to help protect you if you need to. It acts as a ring of protection. So you all gain a ring of protection except you, Kai.
There's a very soft, "Holy shit."
Yeah. And he just continues on here. With that, we have an incident that I believe that you would be my first choice in selecting for this endeavor. I will be selecting others, but I would like to offer this job to you first and foremost. which is why Kai is also here. My son had betrayed us. He killed his brother and attempted to kill me. Had his plan succeeded, he would have done so. However, he is still alive and at large. I wish you to bring him in dead or alive. It matters not. You are the first people to hear of this.
Be dead if I have anything to say about it.
That is acceptable. Do whatever you see necessary.
You can't just go killing somebody.
He killed Aerith and Percival.
That
How do
doesn't
you
mean you
expect me
can
to
kill
respond?
him.
I put my hand on Sylvia's shoulder because she's now arguing in front of a king. And I say, do you know anything about his whereabouts or those he's allied with right now? I mean, we knew there were cults all in the Western lands, but we didn't know they were this intent.
We are unaware of his direction that he went. He was very good at covering his tracks, otherwise we would have known. The Griffin Riders, they are our protectors for generations, and even they are trying to figure out how he was able to bypass our safety nets.
Is there any thought to where he might go? Any friends, loyalists, hideouts?
Well, Zyglodus seems to be his right-hand guy.
Yes. Well, it might be something to follow down. I would imagine whoever this Zegless was, that he would have left a trail of some type. I'm not sure the direction you should head, but that might be a route to take. Otherwise, we have nothing at the moment. If you need to, you can have access to his things if you wish. We can start procuring those for you in the next day or two if you stay here.
Personally, I would indeed wish.
You want us to hunt down the Trader Prince and the guy who killed Gorfrak with a word?
Yes.
Okay.
Did I ever get to punch that guy? Because I'd like to bruise my knuckles with his face.
Langrith pipes in and says, "You punched him like many times. You told me about
I'll
it."
do it again. I'll do it again.
Your
Well,
Highness, as you can tell, we're all still kind of reeling. I mean, especially the Emirs and Sylvia, and I mean, I think everybody's in this position, but I mean, we were right there on the front lines. Could we maybe have some time to think about it? And I mean, we'll stay in the city for a few days, so I would still go ahead and collect Regulus's belongings for us to investigate. But I mean, right now we just need to see if we're even staying together, because I mean, we don't really know each other beyond the tournament. And so now that that's concluded, I mean, when I look at them all and I say, I don't really have a reason to stay.
Langrith comes up to you and says, "But I like you."
And I put my hand on his little dragon head and I say, I like you too, buddy, but I have a lot to think about right now.
Your Majesty, I would like nothing more than to hunt for Regulus. However, I do also have to attend to family matters, so it may require a week at least.
Of course. As I said, I am offering this job to you first. If you wish not to go through with it, that is completely fine. I will find others.
I don't really have anything better to do. The minute I get back to the monastery, they're going to cook my ass, so I'm not really in a hurry to get back.
How soon would you need an answer?
I am going with the assumption that you are accepting. If you don't come with results, then there's no hard feelings. Like, as I said, I am going to hire others. This is not a situation where I need an answer now or later. I am offering to you, letting you know the possibility. If you wish to pursue him, go fully for it. You have my back.
Understood.
Well, I have your back. sometimes. Don't take that literally, please.
And if we were to start looking for him, you don't know where to start looking for anybody who might have disappeared that night?
That is not my purview. You would likely want to ask Miss Allison. She's good at finding people.
Are we to assume that everyone else will help us because you've told them to, or are we going to have to do this on our own?
Well, luckily for you, you are with the presence of some famous individuals here. They have done significantly well in the tournament and are pretty well known, at least with anybody within the city. Leaving the city, on the other hand, besides nobility, will likely not be aware of your status, but here, anybody who is present during the tournament will surely know of your skill.
A follow-up question, Your Majesty. If we have to use slightly less than legal means to find your son, will we face consequences when we return?
If it brings results, I do not care how it is done.
An excuse to do illegal things.
Pretty much.
Have you ever needed an excuse before?
No, I pretty much just kind of do what I want.
Not all of us have Fern's background.
Hey.
Do you have any further questions?
Hey.
I presume if we need anything, we should be in touch with Allison regarding Regulus's items.
Correct. She will be the person you deal with regarding that matter.
Hey, don't you suppose you know if the Grand Herald's still in the city?
Yes, she is planning to speak with you after my talk with you.
Oh, fuck, yes. Oh. Sorry. No cursing. That was Sylvia's role. I don't know if it pertains to kings and not just her family.
Well, Your Highness, thank you for the gifts. You've definitely given us a lot to think about. We appreciate your hospitality in this time. I know that you just lost a son, and you found out one was a traitor. So, our condolences there as well.
We are relieved that we were able to save you.
Yes, I would be certainly upset if I had died, but even more so if it had played out as he intended. Now I have to deal with figuring out who's next in line at this point, but that is not a matter you should be concerning yourself with.
And you're sure that he's the only traitor in your house? Or do we need to be watching our back for someone else?
Well, the only remaining family members is my wife, my daughter, Thasha, and Ankara, who is our youngest, who she is not someone who wants responsibility. So,
But she dances pretty good.
yeah, as a result, I would imagine he might have other people in power working for him, but I don't know who they are. So I would be on your toes in that matter. But from my experience, it seems like he was unprepared to be ready in this moment. So I don't know how entrenched he was.
Well, we will stay on our toes.
I wish all of you the luck. Peace be with you. And then he walks out, and so does everyone else.
And I almost said, and also with you.
Me too, quite frankly.
Same.
not too long
I'm not even
after,
Catholic.
a group of some people you are familiar with and some people you're definitely not familiar with, a set of church guards in their painted white armor, come in and set up guard, as well as two people, the Grand Herald, in blonde hair, relatively middle-aged, and the new speaker, the religious leader of the Church of Creation, Miss Lisa. And she has her black hair and is relatively young. She's very uncomfortable, just as her general demeanor at the moment. And she's carrying a little chest with her as the two of them sit down with Liliana talking first. Well,
Holy
it
shit.
is a pleasure to see all of you again. It is good to see you, Fern. How is everyone?
Have you seen him?
Well, that's part of why I'm here today.
It is? You've seen him?
No, since he has not returned for at least a week now, in our accordances, we have to at least mark him as deceased. As such, I brought some of his possessions that he wanted to give the rest of you.
But he's not dead.
So, in doing so, and she pulls out a little slip of
My
paper
God.
and begins reading it off. In this limited will, in case I do not return in the next few days, I would like these items distributed to Fern and her friends. Let, you are to receive a gold statue, and the speaker pulls out a gold statue from the box, and it's that of a dragon with a faded inscription. With it, she immediately wraps it up and hands it to you. Gorfrak, you are to get this agate. You get an agate worth 2,000 gold pieces. And for you, Sylvia, a feather duster, and you are also given a feather duster.
What?
And Fern, it is listed that you are to be given nothing, as you already have it. But I do have other random junk, so you get whatever the rest in the box, and then they hand it to you.
I'll keep it safe until he gets back.
Of course.
I feel
without-
like the three adults in the party are just kind of looking at each other like, should we say something to this teenager who just lost her father figure?
I'm assuming Let isn't counted in that category because Let is fully looking at this and going, I wonder how many birds I can sell this for.
Right. And Kai doesn't
You
have
better
any
not fucking sell that.
context.
I sitting here going, what the fuck with the feather duster?
But why a feather
That's how
duster?
he is. He's just like
No.
that.
Actually, in the back of her head, she went kinky and then continued.
Why? Oh.
I like this. I like this character already.
Oh man. The Grand Herald looks to all of you, looking to see if there's any responses. Doesn't seem like there is any, and then she continues forward. At this point, we have a request for you, as you probably have received several at this point. While I would not have selected the group of you, Dimitri seemed to believe you are capable individuals, and I am following what he suggested. With the return of Valdara, I will be honest with you and state that nowhere will be safe in short time if she is not dealt with. As of right now, we do not have any ways of dealing with her. Conventional fighting and conflict will not succeed in stopping her. To do so, we have two options. We would either need the Sword of Ascension, which is the only weapon in known existence to be able to harm her, or to seal her away again, neither of which we have access to, as the Key of Honor is currently lost, and we do not have the aspects of creation to reseal her. As such, we will request that you take a look into finding where these aspects are.
You don't know where the key is? It's with that one noble dude. Not that I know anything about that.
Well, he has been killed and his estate brought to ruin. There is nothing left of his estate.
I knew I should have stolen that.
As such, the aspects of creation are broken up into 6 different pieces, representing the body and mind of an individual. As such, you might imagine the aspects of creation are as follows: of strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. As such, they are able to augment any one person's ability to extend beyond what normal mortal beings can stand. If they're brought together, they allow someone to, in this case, our speaker, to reseal the goddess. Any questions?
Many.
Do they have a specific form in which they exist?
They take the form of usually
Infinity
jewelry.
Stone.
They change depending on who is attuned to them, but they are. I have known the aspect of strength to be a bowl. Sometimes it is just a ruby statue. Other times it's part of a necklace. Whatever it is, it will be no doubt easy to spot if you're looking for it.
I look at Let's Dragon statue.
You mean like a statue of a bull?
Yes.
How do we know if we find one?
It will be obvious, as for one, it will glow brightly if you detect it with magic or identify it. The other aspect of it, if you are attuned to it, it will increase how strong you are significantly.
As someone
And you know
who's
where none of them are.
It's we used to. That information has been lost as they've been passed to individuals as different guardians have moved forward. We know for sure one is with Cirrus Deacon, the wizard. You should likely know
Of course.
him. He
Yeah,
has the one of intelligence.
As someone who's spent her entire life in a library, is there any information that I would know that I've learned from reading any of the thousands and thousands of books at Meridian?
Yeah. Let's do a roll here.
Finally a roll. First roll.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
see here. So your specialty is history, so that's what we're gonna have you roll. So, what you'll need to do is you'll need to double click your character on the screen, and a character screen should pop up. On it, if you click history, it should roll it for you. Under your skills, so your acrobatics, animal handling, arcana, and so forth.
And advantage or normal?
Just normal. You know what? I'll give you advantage for this.
You couldn't have said it 2 seconds earlier.
We'll just roll it again.
Yeah, you just need to roll again.
All right, yeah. So with an 18, you have read through a lot of books. And this has come up several times. These are important artifacts. And anybody who wants to empower themselves within their given field looks for these. As such, they are not as easy to find as one would think. For example, the aspect of strength, it followed a line of warriors before that warrior was killed. That warrior lost it as a result, and then it was lost since. It believed it was an assassination attempt on believed to be a noble at the time. The aspect of dexterity completely lost to time. No one knows where it went. This also goes for constitution. Wisdom was given to members of the church as well as charisma, but charisma vanished one day, but it seems to be always spotted on the eastern side of the continent. And wisdom, on the other hand, is given to usually important members of the church, but it never stays with one person for too long. Usually they have it for some time, and then by the time someone comes up to ask about it, it's already moved on to someone else. And that's kind of where the legacy of those artifacts have been. And if you bring them together, plus the staff, which the speaker always uses, that is able to empower that individual enough to be able to seal any being in existence. Any less than that, and you cannot seal them away. So if you had 5 of the 6, you can't seal away the goddess.
When you say bean, do you mean legume or critter?
Wait, repeat that again?
Being or being?
Yeah, it sounded like you said
Being.
Gotcha. It sounded like you said BEAN, so I was like legume or living entity.
No, not a food bean, but a creature bean.
Complete control over the world's beans. Finally.
Finally, I control all the legume.
I have a question for the Grand Herald.
Yes.
The speaker the only one powerful enough to hold all 6 aspects of creation and complete the sealing, or could it be another person of renown, like Sirius Deacon or the King or, the head druid or whoever?
It is specifically of divine power. So while the king does have the bloodline, he doesn't have the full blessing of the church. As such, the only person that would be able to do so would be Miss Lisa. Unless someone could reach her potential in a short period of time, very similar to her, which would be near impossible in this moment. Or any other divine creature. So Ethios himself could do it.
Is that who did the big attack on Valdara right when she got out? Because I felt everything kind of waver. It was weird.
We certainly believe so. And then Lisa speaks up and she nods and says, yes? I think so. I'm not sure, but I'm getting used to this thing. And then Liana pats her on the shoulder and says, we understand. It'll take time. Do not worry. But yes, we do believe so.
It must be nice to have, material proof of your god.
Sure is.
Yes. And she kind of looks at
Isn't
Wolfrak.
your god all of nature?
I mean, that's what we say, but she does take on forms, and she traditionally she's depicted as a woman, but she's really gender fluid. And yes, Gaia lives in all things, but Gaia is also her own goddess. So
Gender is
anyway, it must be nice to have seen your god within this millennia. No druid I've ever heard of or in our history has seen Gaia. So it just, silver linings, I guess.
Okay.
Listen, I don't know how someone's gender can be water, but hey Sylvia, I got a really, really important question. Like really, really important.
Go ahead.
Can you still do the finding magic and look at what Dimitri gave us? Please?
You mean detect magic?
Yes, that.
Yes, I can still detect magic. You detect magic.
Oh shit! I'm gonna get out what he gave me before.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast that.
Okay, so we'll go down the list here. Let, with your statue that's wrapped in white cloth, nothing comes
Yep.
off of it.
Nothing comes off of it.
Yeah, nothing glows as a result.
As in,
From
yeah,
the magic
I see it.
check.
Yeah.
I see magic as different colors depending on the type and the nature of the magic. So
Damn, I
24.
really was hoping that was an aspect.
I know.
Yeah, nothing on that one.
Too easy.
Gorfrak, your agate doesn't glow anything. Sylvia, your feather duster doesn't glow as anything.
Of course.
Fern, your
Stupid
box of
feather
junk,
duster.
nothing of it glows.
Cool. Can I open what he gave me?
Hold
was
on.
a package.
What about Kaya's feather duster?
I have a feather duster, not Kaya.
Oh, you
Yeah,
both
Kai
do,
did not
don't
receive
you?
anything.
Oh, my bad.
I didn't meet her.
Kaya stayed quiet because she didn't think it was appropriate to intervene in the reading of someone's will.
He's not dead!
She has much more of a compass on what's appropriate and inappropriate than Let does.
Than most of us do.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's difficult.
It's not.
Fern,
She just read
Fern,
you
are
for
you
Bill.
opening the box?
Yeah, I want to open the package he gave me that he said not to open unless it was like dire.
Okay. So it's kind of wrapped in this like black paper. So you unwrap that, and then it's in a red cloth with something's wrapped in red cloth with gold embroidery. And there's still no glowing yet.
Shit.
Sounds Christmassy.
Yet.
No wonder you didn't want me to open it. That's probably gonna get dirty. I'll open up the cloth.
Okay. It is a light blue like figurine, and it's that of an owl. And
Shit.
Sylvia, this glows to you, and you already have probably the best people in here to identify this, and the Grand Herald points to that and says, I'm surprised that you have that. That is one of the aspects.
Of course. Is that wisdom?
Yes. You can tell by its coloring and by the design it took. I wish that old man would have told me about that.
He gave it to me and told me not to unwrap it unless it was real dire.
Well, and she gestures out to take it from you.
If
Gave
we
it
are
to me.
supposed to collect the other ones, I don't see the reason to part with this one now.
Well, it will certainly
Sylvia
help
is correct.
Miss Lisa at this point. It won't help you in the way that we will need it.
I'll give it to Lisa.
I don't know why I'm really suspicious of that.
Lisa takes it and looks very uncomfy. And she says, thank you. I'll figure it out. And kind of gives you a look.
Hey, Dimitri picked you. I trust him, so you should trust him too.
I would, Nathaniel, like to use my ring of clarity to check her out and see if she's telling the truth about why she wants that.
The Grand Herald?
Liliana?
Huh?
The Grand Herald?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Roll.
I can tell Lisa's telling the truth. She has anxiety. That's a mood.
We're not worried about Lisa.
I don't remember what I roll for this.
Insight.
Insight?
Yes.
Big oof.
So
I forgot that I had the +7 modifier, and I rolled that 8, and I was like, no!
Yeah, so you got a total of 15. So, from what seems like, she is very intent on wanting it. Now, from what you know of her and her actions, she seems to always be an interest of the church itself. So, if anything, she probably has a thing where Fern, while she is part of the church, is the farthest outsider that probably exists on the church. So having that powerful artifact out in the world on its own, she's worried it might fall into ne'er-do-weller's hands.
Yeah, because she doesn't.
Gotta be honest. As a scholar of history, generally, the church's best interests and the best interests of everyone else don't necessarily coincide.
Yeah, and at least in this scenario, this is a religious artifact, so she probably is interested in wanting to hold on to it.
That's fair, I guess.
Come here, tubby cat. There you go.
You wouldn't happen to know maybe where I could start looking for him?
We have no idea. That's the problem. We are sending our best and brightest to look for him. As I said, Dimitri's certainly interested and believed in you, so I will trust his judgment. If you bring any of them to us, we will certainly reward you. Oh, and can I have that cloth that came with it, please?
Why do you want the cloth?
The ignorance is... Never mind. It is a blinding cloth. If you cover it, it will prevent anybody from seeing the magic beneath it, which is why you did not see anything prior to it. You opening the cloth.
Yeah, I hand it over.
You might
but I
not
keep the
think...
outer wrapping for myself.
I think it might be useful for us to have this wrapping that hides magical objects if we're going to be walking around the continent with 5 of the most powerful objects in creation. Just
Correct.
right
Are you
in our
not
pockets.
capable of protecting the aspect of wisdom yourself?
You know, I will... Kai, I would like you to roll a persuasion check with advantage. I'll give Sylvia the help action for this. And we'll see what you get here.
While she's rolling, I have a question. In the week since the event, is everything cleaned up now, or are there still, like, people missing, like, turmoil in the streets, things like that?
Kai, roll one more time. So yeah, the city itself is, from your time that as you walked around out there, it definitely took a beating. At this point, it's...
I don't know if you saw, but I went...
The day-to-day is about the same now, but there's ruins. Most of the infrastructure that was supported by the magic that was being taken from the goddess is no longer there. So much of the sanitary benefits are completely gone now. The city is quickly becoming unlivable. But it's still day to day. From the different town criers that you can hear, they talk about a full evacuation of the city in like a month.
So this isn't like Lux where I should be licking the streets.
No, this is Lux, but this is Lux but lost its magic, so the ground doesn't taste sweet anymore.
Unless you want to get a disease, don't
because we
lick the
decided
street.
to lick the streets.
And also, Kai is still standing back here going, please don't lick the streets, please don't lick the streets, having lived here. Like...
Yeah.
Too late.
So, with that persuasion check, you definitely pass with a 20. It is... She thinks it over, and then she hands it to you specifically, or she wants you to specifically have it. I've heard of your deeds from the king himself. I believe your judgment. If you need
Thank
it,
you.
you can have it. We should be.
I believe this will be very useful.
Yes, I certainly would hope so. With that, that is all I had for you.
Wait, please. Just one more question.
Yes?
What did you know before everything went to shit that night? Why did Dimitri get pulled into the speaker selection? Why didn't anybody say anything to anybody else? We were just left in the dark until the shit hit the fan.
We were. I'm not sure what you're asking, but we were unaware of what was going to happen.
But Dimitri isn't a herald. Why did he get pulled into the speaker selection?
Well, I know it's been a while, Fern, but if you remember, I told you I trust him. We're old friends.
I figured it might just have to do something with what went down. Everybody was all. There were a lot more paladins around than I thought there would be, but I don't
Well,
know.
as you can tell, these
Maybe
are
I
dark
thought
times, so I'm glad we have the security.
I's over here feeling a little suspicious because she understands the way military strategy works. This first sign of any disquiet is far too many paladins standing around just quote unquote casually.
Very much so. It definitely shows signs that
Yeah.
they were at least aware of something.
Grand Herald is sussy.
Well, I'm gonna find him. And then we can talk again. Okay?
Yes, we certainly can, and I would be quite glad to see him back here safely. Well, Lisa, I think we need to get back to training. So, I wish all of you a good day. And then she gets up, Lisa follows, and so do all the guards.
Bye, Lisa.
That
She-
doesn't sit right with
She gently
me.
just kind of does this little wave. And
I like Lisa.
I was going to comment and say, I love how we're going from names like Gorfrak, Sylvia, Fern, and we have a lady named Lisa.
yeah.
Very
Don't you
diverse.
insult
with
Lisa.
me.
I like Lisa. Don't you insult her.
I
Anyway,
kind of lean over to Sylvia and I'm like, I didn't love that either. That sat weird with me too.
Why did they have so many paladins if they didn't know anything was going to happen? Something's not right there.
It's incredibly suspicious because either they knew something was going to happen or they knew something. There's literally no other reason to have extra paladins.
I don't know. It was something Dimitri pointed out in the middle of the tournament. He told me to keep my eyes open. I didn't get a chance to ask him about anything because he had to go fight some stupid sorceress and then disappear on us. But I don't know. I trust the church. It's probably okay.
As someone who has grown up in this fighting area and probably knows quite a few of the paladins, is there any way that I could sneaky talk to someone and see if they knew what was going on, if any of the paladins themselves knew why there were suddenly so many of them stationed?
you certainly could try. At this point, you guys are in the castle chambers still. You are free to go and do what you wish now. So if there's a place that you would like to go, you can fully go to it. For in case you forgot, Lux is broken up into a few different tiers. There is the tier of creation, which is the highest tier that there is. This is where the wealth and nobility reside. The main areas of that is the campus of grand arts, the nobles pavilion, and the Luxian garden, as well as the castle, of course. The tier below it is the tier of light. It houses the Fortress for the Griffin Riders, which is Ty Gallen's Roost, the District of Creation, which houses where the church is at, the Bazaar of Wonder, and the Grand Library of Lux. And then the final bottom tier is the Tier of Possibility, which is where most of the poor population resides.
Shit, what do we want to do next?
It's fully
I
up
know
to
I
you.
was not fully enthusiastic about this at the start, but I'm intrigued now, so I will follow your lead.
I look at the older people in the room.
I have to figure out what's going on in my family before I can move forward and make any sort of decision.
Well, then you'll need to go home. We can let you go alone, or we can come with you. Which would you prefer?
Well, I can't exactly say any of you had any great affection for Aerith, so...
Yeah, but you're a friend.
What about Gorfrak?
Excuse
She
me.
was obsessed with
Excuse
Aerith.
me.
Obsessed.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Ooh, sorry,
I'm
Garf.
not counting a silly infatuation as actually caring for her.
We were gonna go on a date, but then she is no longer with us after the tournament.
She was
She-
toying with you. How did you not see that?
Aerith died to get out of a date with Gorfrak, dang.
Well, it was as if she had a relationship with someone else already.
Right, she and the Crown Prince.
Oh.
Listen, I know we didn't necessarily, know your family super well, or, well, they're fancy, so I can't even say I liked them that much. But we like you because you're our friend, and I don't know. Seems to me like when you like somebody, you should help them in any way you can, even if it's going to their family's funeral.
Let is probably gonna butt in and be like, and I like your dad. He gave me this ring, which should be noted that Let is wearing it on their marriage ring finger, not knowing that has any cultural significance whatsoever.
And Kai is
Does it
standing
even
over
have
here
hope?
going, I don't know you, but I understand how hard it is to lose family, so even though I know you exactly none.
Well, I won't stop you from coming with me.
That's great because honestly, I don't really like the idea of just hitting the road again. Back in the day, I used to go from place to place knowing I'd go see Dimitri next, but until I figure out where to start looking for him,
Well, I will preface this because I think you guys believe that you can teleport all the way over there. You don't have
Hey,
access
are there
to...
any circles?
There are no circles.
Not even in
could
the
we take us?
castle?
No, they were all coordinatedly destroyed. And I know that might seem like a cop out here, but there was a Crown Prince man who wanted to ensure that the city was completely cut off from the outside world, which is another reason why the city isn't doing that well. That's one thing that you probably would have gotten as you're going around. The city was cut off from a lot of different things. It can't support itself right now.
And we better get out of the city.
Yeah, could we go to another city and take their teleportation circle?
Is Vellum the closest one with circles?
It's possible. Any city that has a large population probably has one. Now, whether you can get access to it is a different story.
Well, if it's Vellum, then I think we can, but maybe I'm being optimistic.
Vellum sounds good. It's not too far looking at the map. Hey, it's not Pegaset.
Well, Pega said I know we definitely can because that's in my family's region, but I don't think it's closer than Vellum.
No, it's way far away. It's not worth the trip.
Maybe we could ask the king if we could take a griffin or two and fly there fast.
I would sooner die than fly. That sounds terrifying.
Wait, what about the river?
I mean, you can go down the river if you'd like.
Is that going to be faster?
So one thing that
It might be good to go down the river. I'd get my first bath in a long time.
the structure of how we're doing this second act is a little bit different than how we played the first one. The first one, we were very much counting how we're moving and where we are going. Now it's a little bit more fluid and flexible. We aren't going to worry too much about how long and playing out every single thing that happens on the road. We'll more or less just kind of brush over that encounter, because really anything that you would likely encounter on the road won't be dangerous to you, and if it is, we'll talk about it. So
Right, we're level 7 now.
yes, you are level 7, and in most cases, wolves aren't going to bother you. I would have to throw an army of them at you to do anything, and even that's a what if.
Before we go, should we look at Regulus's things?
You do have to wait
I
a few
think so.
days.
Oh. Where are we supposed to stay? The city is in ruins.
I
Again,
mean, I
this is
found
up
some
to
pretty
you.
good alleys.
I'll be honest, I'm more interested in Gorfrak is more interested in taking care of Eldara than helping the royal family through their troubles in this moment.
Yes, I agree. However, if we look at Regulus's things to even have any kind of idea to go off of, if while we're looking for other things, we run across his trail.
So
That's a good
I will
point.
say this: his things aren't going to disappear when you reach the 2-day mark. They're still going to be there if you want to take them. It will take time for them to gather them all up. Once they're gathered all up, you can go there anytime.
I don't know. An entire 3-group worth insurrection happened in this city under the nose of the ruling class. Incompetence seems to be a theme here with bureaucracy.
That's fair.
Okay, calm down, Marks. We should
Which
also
to
point
me-
out that, like, if we wait 2 days to look at this stuff, it'll be a shorter wait time than going somewhere and coming back, because we don't have a teleportation circle into the city anymore.
Sylvia, have your parents set a date for the funeral yet?
Not that I know of. I would like to send them a message and learn if they have picked a date.
Don't be so insensitive, Gorf.
That was a
mean-
bit blunt.
Over the week, we kind of talked about this with the town attendant that you kind of use. I mean, it's about a month out. They have a date set. The invitations are sent. Well, it was a month
you
out
didn't
from
mention
she
that.
passed away, so it's 3 weeks now. Yeah, approximately.
how
Again,
many
this
days-
is we're playing fast and loose with travel time, so when that 3-week mark hits, I'll give you some leeway of a day or two, and then it'll happen. But if you're gonna be a week late, you're not gonna make it.
Fair enough. Then they say we wait the 2 days here and then head to Vellum.
Which still begs the problem of where we're going to stay in a city that's half on fire.
I mean, I found some pretty good alleyways when I was hanging around, if we want to try those.
Since we have done so many favors for the Griffin Riders and the royal family, it does stand to reason that they would let us stay either where they house the Griffin Riders or at the castle.
Did
It
you not
never
hear
hurts
me?
to ask. The worst they can say is no. No alleys. No, thank you.
Yeah,
We
I'm
just
not
got
staying in an alley.
5,000. We just got 5,000 coins a person. You really think someone's not going to come up and steal them off of us?
That's
You'll learn soon enough that you cannot remove the gutter from the child that was born in the gutter.
I lean over to Let and go, who pissed in their pants?
And I, meanwhile, give Sylvia a high five because that was perfect.
I'm just dumbfounded at this point right now that Fern just said to me, who pissed in their pants, because the idea of somebody ever being able to pee in somebody else's pants is never a concept that's occurred to Let.
I missed
Oh
Let.
no.
Nathaniel,
So Let's just sitting there going,
what time of day is it right now?
So this would have been like right in the morning. So you had that kind of week of downtime, and on that next day they brought you in back to this room, and they raised you with all these questions and things.
And we're still in the castle at this point.
Yeah, you haven't left. You guys are still talking there.
Okay. And I'm like, let's go find somebody and get ourselves situated here because I'm staying in the castle.
I think Borfrak tries to go to the Bazaar of Wonder. See if the fortune teller's still there.
Okay.
Good thought.
So we have someone who's going to go to the fortune teller, or taking a look for her, in the Bazaar of Wonder. Where's everyone kind of wanting to go?
Is there a possibility of me going to find some paladins, like I said, and seeing if I can't get to the bottom of this, why so many were stationed, and then coming back to the castle?
Yeah. So I think for this, let me draw out a few things here. So we kind of have our one circle there. We'll kind of like
Return of the Circle maps. Yeah.
we'll do some circles here. So just move yourself to where you want to go, and I will drag that around. So we kind of have the first one's the Bazaar of Wonder, the blue circle. For our middle circle, which I'm going to turn red here in a second, that will be the church group. If you want to go church looking, and then the castle one will be green at the very end if you want to be at the castle. So just click and drag your characters over if you have trouble, and then I'll figure out where Linewith is going.
Hey Kai, can I come with you?
Here, I'll move you over there.
You would be extremely welcome.
Okay.
where's the red circle going?
They're going to the church.
And the green circle, remind me, sorry.
Castle.
The castle. I think I'll go to the church.
Okay.
It's hard to break up the dumbass duo.
So from it,
At least you have a supervisor.
Do you want Linewith to go with the blue group or green group?
Honestly, I feel like he should go with Sylvia, personally.
Okay.
I do too. She needs the emotional support.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he walks over to you, Sylvia, and says, well, I can come with you. I don't really want to go out in the city. It's kind of boring.
And a bit treacherous.
I'm not worried.
I'm glad you're not.
All right. Well,
I think Lionrith needs a little more fear.
Yes.
Gorfak, we'll start with you here, and we will have you roll an investigation, or survival, or perception. Pick one of those three of your choice, and that will represent to see if you can find what you're looking for within the Bazaar of Wonder.
Okie doke.
While you're doing that, if you remember, much of the architecture within the city is very reminiscent of white stone. It is a kind of Greek-esque. They don't really have roofs. They're just kind of like solid white tops. That's kind of it. There are a lot of different canals and things that water used to be pumped up in through and throughout the city. Now much of the rivers and things are completely dried out, and they're just giant holes. It's kind of disturbing in some places. With an 18, you can find who you're looking for, because she's still here. The fortune teller that you met very early on in your adventure. As well as you still have the Tabaxi traders. They are still there. I'm trying to think of anyone else that was there. I think that was it. Let me double check.
I think that was it.
Yeah, those are the two main groups that were there. I want to make sure that the Tabaxis are still there. Yeah, so they're both there. So, as you approach the fortune teller, she is in her colorful attire with her wagon, which surprisingly, maybe unsurprisingly, has a broken wheel as you approach. And she says, "Oh, good. I think you can help me out with this." And she gives you a completely new wheel for you to hold.
Holding the wheel.
Good. Okay. So I'm going to prop this up with a few different things, and I'm going to need you to slide the wheel in so then I can reapply the magic. Can you do it?
Would it be easier for me to lift up, because I could like turn into something to help with this, like a air.
Oh yes. Do that. And she takes the wheel back from you.
So I wild shape into a brown bear, and I like nuzzle up under the edge of the wagon and lift it up for her.
Yeah. So you like dig right under it and prop it up physically, and she's like, "Wonderful," and attaches it on there, and she like does a little like sparkly hand gesture, and it like slides into place and locks in. And she's like, "Thank you. This is like the second time you've helped me."
Yes, and I'm hoping to see if you would be willing to help me for a second time.
Yes, of course. Why don't we come into my wagon and we can go over my selection of opportunities and things and whatnot. And she gestures you to follow in. Once again, you have been here before. It's a variety of books, baubles, scented candles, things like that, of different origin and wonder, really. You can see that.
Are there any peppermint candies?
There are no peppermint candies here. She doesn't seem
Darn.
like a candy eater. And she sits down at her one side of her table and gestures for you to sit down on the other, and then asks, "Well, what can I help you with?"
Well, every single prediction that you made for myself and my friends came true to a T. And so the cards on the table here, no pun intended, because you're a card reader. I'm feeling extremely lost right now. I almost died. My group that my religion I've spent my whole life with, and the people I've invested all my time into don't seem to want me. I don't know what to do. I was wondering if you could provide some kind of reading to help.
This is so uplifting.
Well, I can certainly try, but I can never say for certain if it'll be uplifting or not. You really never know. Well, shall we begin? She looks to you, waiting for confirmation.
Yes. Gorfrak just kind of nods, being the most vulnerable she's ever been with another person.
Yeah.
I love Gorf!
So, she starts shuffling the cards up and takes one out and sets it down. This was very reminiscent of a similar card to your third card that you had in the last prediction. But this time it is now it has a city on it, but it is almost like it was split into three different, almost like a slot machine, and it was spun in different ways. So there is pieces of the city that are above where they should be, and it's mismatched. And she points to it and says, "Oh yes, so from what I can see, you are definitely lost and broken with much of what has happened. The world has shifted and changed in a way that you have been able to unpredict. And as such, it's caused much strife within you. I would be concerned myself. However, if you're able to sift through what you've seen and rearrange the pieces, you should be able to see the full picture and the true understanding of what is to come. Then she shuffles it again, takes a second card out, and if you remember last time, I had you roll a d20. Please roll that now. And
Did that pop up?
No, but it
I can see if it did. I'm taking a look on my end for some notes. Yeah, you got an 18. Let me dig up some notes. I gotta dig deep for this.
We wait with bated breath.
Yeah.
I love this character. I forgot how much I love this lady.
She gives me like the spooks a little bit, I'm not gonna lie.
So you got an 18.
Coward.
I'm gonna have you roll again.
So, okay. I got a 16 on my screen. You want to use that?
Yeah, I saw.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I saw your perceptions thing from earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a 16. Okay, that's different. Okay, so you get a card that you have seen before. It is a card that was given to Lionrith during his first reading, and it is the card of power. And she says, knowledge is power. Power to do evil or power to do good. Power itself is not evil, so the knowledge itself is not. Your actions can alter the course of history, so use it wisely. From what I can see, at some point in your journey, you will encounter something of great significance that will alter you fundamentally. Whatever that may be will certainly empower you. When it does, you won't have the insight to fully grasp the power that you now control. So you must be wary of the now to be able to understand it for the future. And then she shuffles the cards up again and takes one more out. And on it, it has a very much the same card as the first one, but it's complete. On it, it has the same design, but it's not all twisted this time around. It shows it properly. And at the bottom, it has a stone rock. And then it has a colorful orange sky at the top. And she says, it'll come down to an event that you will not have control over. Everything that you will have to decipher through will conclude in one action. You need to be ready for it, because whatever it will be decisive for you and everyone around you. And that is all I can tell.
Thank you. That was, though it was cryptic, that was enlightening in a way.
And of course, she gestures the middle card to you and says, this card is yours to take. Funny enough, this was your friend's card, and now it is back in your little group. And she takes the other two cards on the left and right side and shoves it back into her deck. If you do see your friends, they are feel free to come for a reading as well.
Oh, heck no.
Thank you. Would you be willing to lend your sight to another matter I'd like your view on?
Of course.
You seem to be very well traveled. And if you don't mind me saying, I think you're a lot more powerful than you let on. I met with the Druid High Council before, the events of the last couple weeks happened and before the tournament. And they said that they were trying to collect some old Druid relics. The Spear of the Wind, the Heart of the Wild, and then a certain tome that has a lot of ancient Druid knowledge in it. Is this something you ever have heard about in your travels or in your studies? I mean, I tried to ask them, but they've accosted me before, and they had, how Druids are, stubborn and traditional.
Well, I am not a historian, but I am a collector of stories and rumors. Uh, from what I know, those types of things are relics that are of great power, that are crafted by, I think, even the gods themselves. It is believed that each divine creature had created their own relics and so forth, and I believe those are them. Maybe not the book, but the number of relics is unaccounted for, but that's likely what they are. And bringing them together might, in some cases, some believe that it brings their deity great power to do so. I don't know if that's true or not, but some people believe that.
Well, I thank you for your time. Um, I know you didn't ask for payment, but I'd like to give you. And I just set down a piece of platinum on the table, and I just quietly get up and I leave.
Do stay safe, and as I had told you before, you can always, of course, come back with if you have use of my services, especially with any of those wondrous orbs that you encounter. And I wish you luck, but I don't think you'll need it.
Well, thank you.
And you depart out, and as you close the door, she takes the coin on the table, pockets it. We'll cut from you then, and we'll head over to the red group. All right, red team. You guys head to the church district, basically. It is several buildings, like a campus in nature, of religious origins of multiple levels. As many of you remember, the church is structured in that Ethios is the god of creation who spreads his power amongst his gods. Of them, they have their own different specialties, with the Divine Eight being the main eight that rule over all of them, and each one has different aspects. All of them a former speaker who ascends at the end of these celebrations. And they all have their own following and whatnot, and dedication here, depending on their ranking. So when you arrive, it is bustling, is a word to say, is in a different way than probably you've seen it previously. Previously, it was very cheerful. There was a lot of people talking around. They having different tents set up for specific religions and whatnot. Now it is barren to the point to where it looks like the people are just moving things. There are lots of crates, boxes, things. The church itself, the district, is in worse shape than you've seen it, and not good at all, really. It looks heavily damaged compared to most of the city.
Oh, it was so beautiful before.
You know, I'm gonna point to the streets and be like, man, you used to be able to lick those and they tasted like sugar cubes.
I'm over here going, please don't remind me that you used to lick the streets. It's not giving me confidence.
Hey, you said we were extremely welcome, and I don't think I've ever been extremely welcome anywhere before, so you asked for it.
It's called tact.
I don't think Fern's ever been extremely welcome anywhere either.
Don't be mean to Fern.
I made everybody
glad
laugh.
you're
I'm gonna get an
home.
A in D&D.
That's really good.
Um, I don't even know where to start from there. I got a little distracted.
Yeah,
Don't
that
worry.
derailed me too. What are we doing?
That's pretty normal for us. You said something about going and finding paladins. I only ever met one paladin, maybe two.
That's correct. But I mean, I've grown up around these people. I expect that I'll be able to find some of them. They're not as sneaky as like to think they are.
Well, I really don't know how anybody could be sneaky if their whole job is pushing pallets. I mean, isn't that what a paladin does?
Yes, dear, that's exactly what a
No, it's
paladin does.
not. They wear armor and fight stuff in the name of the gods. It's really cool.
They wear armor to fight stuff? Babies?
Well, not everybody is as fast as you. I wanted to be a paladin until I realized, well, I'm a little bit scrawny for the job.
You thought you could beat me in a fight.
I do want to see this. I've got 2 gold on either side.
I'll fight you at some other point. Right now, I want to know if we can go find some of these paladins, and also, I'm wondering if there's still a generally better than good store here.
I mean,
Paladins first.
There
Paladins
is a
first.
super-sized one here, but it's in the Bazaar of Wonder, not in that district.
You knew this
Darn.
already. Don't act surprised.
It was
Oh yeah, I
all the
forgot.
candy.
I forgot we've been to this one. It had the whole wall of candy. Oh man. All right. Well, that's on our list. We have to go to the generally better than good superstore before we leave Lux because I need to refresh my collection of candies. I've got a lot of gold burning a hole in my pocket.
You're assuming that it didn't burn to the ground or something stupid.
If we find out that the generally better than good store burned to the ground, I think we might lose Let.
Holy shit, you could buy so many candy with 5,000 gold.
I think I could buy out their whole supply.
So, refocusing. What's the best way should we think as a group to go about finding another paladin or several?
Oh,
I
I
don't
already
know.
like you better than Sylvia. Sylvia never asks for our opinions.
Yeah, hey, that's true.
I am new to the group. I don't think it'd be great to start off saying, "You idiots, follow me." We'll get around to that eventually, I promise.
That's exactly how Sylvia started off with us, though.
Yeah, she just
Yeah,
jumped
well,
right in.
yeah, well, Sylvia's rich. I'm not. She can afford
Sylvia
not to have
didn't want
manners.
your company to begin with. At the beginning of this.
That's really good. You can do whatever you want when you have money, apparently. Well, I have 5,000 gold pieces, so I think I can do whatever I'd like. And I would like to figure out where these paladins are, and you keep talking all about your education from the stars, so why don't you go ahead and start telling us how to find the paladins?
Yeah, you got some names or something? Because the only names I really know are Lisa and Liliana and Dimitri, and one of those guys ain't even, well, he's not in the city right now, so it ain't gonna be much use to us.
Well, I suppose the first step is actually finding paladins who were there on that day versus just anyone on the street.
Everybody was around.
So, is there anyone around we could talk to?
Don't
So
you
the
live here?
I mean, in this particular section, like, are there people on the
Oh,
street?
you're asking Nathaniel. I thought you were
Yes.
asking me and Fern. I was like, hello?
Are there people nearby? Sure. So if there's approachable people, yes, there are definitely people you can attempt to go talk to. Whether or not they want to talk to you is another question entirely. There are a lot of them working, again, they're moving things. And they're kind of keeping an eye on things. Any normal passersby, they kind of like redirect, like you can't go this way. And they seem to have like quarantined off their area a bit. But there are definitely people you can go talk to. Note, I will say that there is a paladin that you do know that is probably around somewhere.
Okay,
Well,
as a
not you
newbie, you gotta
specifically,
give
but
me
the
a...
party knows.
Okay.
Oh, I
Um,
wonder if Pawn is here.
Ponovan. We should try to find Ponovan. Wait, remind me, because it's been 3 months. Is Ponovan a paladin?
She's
Yes.
a paladin. So
Ponovan the paladin?
yes, she's a satyr paladin. The other paladin we know is the dragonborn who got adopted into the royal family.
Oh,
His name I
yeah.
can't remember.
You'd think
But
if we just
he wouldn't-
screamed Ponovan loud enough that she'd appear, because I feel like that seems right for her.
I
mean,
also
she's
feel like
still
this is a
here.
bit of a tense situation, so maybe don't just stand in the middle of all these people trying to clean up and scream at the top of your lungs.
All right,
Um,
if we ever need that capability, I can unhinge my jaw and scream like no one's business.
We'll keep that in our back pocket.
That's kind of their first resort. You should go ask somebody if they know where Ponovan is. Or your friend. I don't know if you know anybody.
Nathaniel, would it be a possibility that I know this Ponovan?
I think let's have you do a luck check here.
Okay.
You wouldn't know Panaben, but there's possibility of you encountering different paladins. So what I want you to do is do just a plain roll. So to do that, you would do /roll, and then do 1d20 in the chat, and then you'll get that one that I got.
Do better than he did.
Yeah.
It's,
That's rough, buddy.
That is rough, buddy.
So if you had rolled that, you would not be in any luck in this situation, but maybe you might know someone. And if you do, then we'll make it up here.
Tell me how to do that again. I'm sorry.
So click the text box at the bottom,
Yes.
/roll space 1d20.
I
Yes.
did better, not by much.
Yeah, in this
You don't need to
case-
count my roll for anything. I just was seeing if I could do it still.
Okay, cool. In your case, Faith, you don't know anyone here specifically. While this is a prominent place for the church is really stationed in the city of Titania to the west of here. So I mean, there probably is people here, but
Really?
you have no idea if anybody you know is here or where they are. It's an impossibility, really. Ponovan is your best bet because you at least know that she's in the city somewhere.
Assuming
you
she
believe
hasn't
so.
left.
Yeah.
Would I, as a fighter who doesn't look like she licks streets, have a better chance of going up and asking someone
You can certainly
for help?
try. Again, they have people who are like designated diverters for people who are trying to walk down the street.
Let's go ask someone who's a designated diverter then.
All right.
Not the street lickers.
And
Hey,
you head up.
we're both very famous now. And I'm a member of the church.
I don't know how far that would get you.
All right. You guys head up to this kind of like line of paladins who are there, of all different shapes and sizes, really. And you come up to this dwarf, and he goes, "All right, you gotta keep moving. You're not allowed through here."
I am so sorry, sir. I know that we're not allowed here, but I was wondering if you could give us some help. We're looking for someone. A paladin.
There's a lot of us looking for him. Who are you looking for?
Can I interrupt for a second, Nathaniel?
Yeah.
Are we doing a hard stop time of 9 o'clock tonight, or are we trying to get to an organic stop point here?
I'm planning on stopping it here in a second.
Okay, I just was asking for our viewers also, kind of.
Yeah.
All right. I would say friends, but I feel like that might be stretching it a little bit. Let's go with companions. It was Ponovan, right?
Yeah, Ponovan.
All right. Do you know where Ponovan is, sir?
I'll have you roll a persuasion check, and that's where we will end it after we see the result of the roll.
Do.
Oh, cliffhanger.
I went doo doo doo, and Mochi went.
Once again, normal or advantage?
This time just with normal. Nothing special.
Can I help her?
Sure.
We are technically helping.
Yeah,
Because we
roll
are
again.
technically helping. Yeah. Okay.
I am helping.
Thank you,
I'll give
because
it to
that
you.
was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Do I also roll?
No. In this case, this
So-
would just be her because she's kind of leading the conversation.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm just
That's a
really
little
rusty.
better.
Sorry.
Uh,
Oh, thank God.
and he starts to
That was
mull
my
it over,
reaction
and he's
too.
like, "I think I've heard of her." And then that's kind of where we'll end for today.
Yeah, I got a +5 for persuasion.
Wow.
What am I rolling?
Yeah, we should have had Fern rolling. Dang.
That's how it is when you have gotta have the responsible one up at front. So
I'm responsible.
That's highly debatable.
Again, we were in Gloom Portal. You said, gee, let me go to the pit of the city where the family resides.
I didn't know it was the family.
Again,
You're the
pit of a
noble who
sketchy
decided to come
city.
with me. The very ransomable noble.
well, thank you all for joining us today on our inaugural episode. We plan to do this weekly every Saturday from 7 to 9. So if you enjoyed it, come join us for next week. Have a good evening, everyone.
See you guys.